This is what I made this week, except I didn't make this week. I made this about 4 months ago. I wanted something that I could take camping with us, that we could pack down, and I mean, really, this isn't that bad. And I spent 12 hours making this one. And the best part, the bottom joint, I'm sure it has a real name. I don't know it. I'm calling it a wood sprung joint, flat-ish pack. And when you get to your campsite, flip it up, and you're good to go. The sketch I'm doing is of the original food stand that I did. Its feet are just dadoed in, and the holes in the top I cut with a brace. I used some rasps to clean that edge up. When you draw this too many times is when you start thinking, oh, I can do this and I can do this, and your project becomes more complicated than it ever should have been. If you're gonna do any kind of carving, you should try to also plan that out. The board that I'm using is a 4.5 inch wide board. I cut it in half. I am including the size of the feet at the ends and the board in the center that I'm going to do the carving on. I'm joining the edges and gluing those two edges together. While the board's gluing up, I'm going to create these breadboard ends for it. These breadboard ends will be part of the feet when they're cut off. And I'm tapering this thin piece of wood to be the wood spring. I'm using another small piece of wood to create the bracket. And the board's done, so I planed it flat and sawn it to length. Then I cleaned up those edges on the shooting board. The first part of this joinery was these breadboard ends. I needed to get them on, so I created the long tenons that would fit into the grooves of my breadboard ends. And then I mortised out the holes in the breadboard ends. Then I used a saw to form the tenons. And a chisel to clean them up. You're gonna have to test fit this many times before you get it right. Once it fits, you can glue it up, let it dry, come back out, plane it flat, and you're good to go. And I used double knife walls to mark the feet before I went on to carving. Make sure you draw out your design first with pencil. Then use a V-chisel to mark in the edges of your drawing. And multiple gouges to set in those edges as well. I had a piece of aluminum stock that I used a hacksaw on and some files to create a little bump pattern on the bottom. I used that to texture the bottom of the carving. I then went back with a chip carving knife and sandpaper to round and smooth off all the ropes that you see going on here. It took way more time than I thought. I'm still really happy with it. I used a chisel and a router plane to create the mortises for the hinges on the breadboard ends. That's when I used a saw to cut the feet off the main board. Then I shaped the feet. I needed to clear down to the breadboard end so that the spring would work right. I'm testing the joint to make sure I'm still going in the right place. And then I use this brace and bit to drill the holes through the bracket in the back as well as the platform in the front. Since that back bracket has angles on its wings, I needed to carve out a flat spot where the nuts for the bolts will go. Before you finish it, you do a test fit. Well, actually I should say it's 3 flash coats of shellac. I wanted to make sure it was sealed off. I wanted to use my polyurethane. Couldn't because it kind of congealed. I think I may have left the cap off. Make sure you close your lids. Is this practical? No. The other design with the dados, even in unskilled hands with a simple chisel or a nice saw, you could get that done in an hour. But you gotta look at projects like this as a platform to learn. It's not the best carving and it's not the best joinery. The next time I do something like this, it should go a lot smoother. No, here. He's being a turkey. So, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, give me a like, subscribe, and we'll try to get more of these projects out. More simple, not overblown projects out soon. So, but I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty wild. Thanks for watching. Shouldn't do that. I don't know what that means in this part of the world. That was